Hello, 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 hello. You're listening to Conscientious Conversation. And I'm your host, Will Prophet. I hope your day is full of excitement. I hope your day is full of joy. And I hope you're getting the most out of your day and staying in the positive, So, here we are. We are now already past the halfway mark of 2026. Wow. We are exactly 7 months in. We got 5 months left, guys. We got 5 months. That's right, 5 months before 2026 is over. So, you should be well on your way to those goals, more than halfway through. You should not have let anything distract you or anything pull you away. Remember, if it was worth committing to, if it was worth writing down, it should be already almost completed. So, just steady fast, just stay focused. Don't continue not to get distracted. Continue not to waver. Okay? Remember, your goal is your goal. So the only person stopping you from your goal is you. I had a colleague of mine say the other day, they admitted to being the one that's dropping the ball. And they admitted to being the one that is not followed through with their part of a deal. And that takes a lot of courage. I just want to say that takes a lot of courage to admit that. But it takes a lot of courage just to be willing to admit that, right? But beyond that, it's like now you know the problem. Now you know what's wrong. Now you know the issue. Now, so do something about it. It's one thing to acknowledge it and admit to it, but it's another thing to say, hey, I'm going to change it. Because obviously if what was working, if what was working, you wouldn't want something else. You wouldn't desire something else. You would say, I mean, don't get me wrong. You'll look at something and say, oh, well, that's cool or something like that. But you obviously, it's something that you want. Your goals are something that you want. Something you want, something that it's going to make you feel better accomplishing your goal. So, continue. Don't waver. Don't get distracted. Continue not to let the noise. Do not let the noise in. If there's one piece of advice I could ever give, it's always don't let the noise in. Meaning don't let, you're going to go through trials and tribulations and issues and there's going to always be something. There's going to always be something. Okay? Even once you make it, watch. Once you make it, once you accomplish and you're where you want to be at in life, you're going to find there's still stuff. Don't think for 1 second that, people that you might envy or people that you might look at and say, wow, don't think for 1 second there's not parts of their life that, that they're not dealing with issues in. No matter how successful you are, no matter how wealthy you are, there's going to always be something. Your problems are just different. They're just different, but there's still a problem. And I get it. But if your goal is important to you, then it's important. So just go after it. Don't waver from it. Don't get distracted. Like I say, do not let the noise in. Do not let the noise in. When you feel like the noise is trying to get in, someone's trying to distract you, stop for a second and just keep repeating that. Do not let the noise in. Do not let the noise in. Because the noise and distraction, that's all designed to get you off course. That's all designed to distract you from the mission at hand. Now, To those of you who have been, you started your goal, you stop, you start, stop. There, it's just a repeat of what I said. Don't let the noise in. Don't let the noise in. Go after it. Remember who you are in this story. Remember the character that you are in this story. And the beauty of this story, that's your life, you're the author of it. So that, if you stop, you put the pen down, and then it stops. As long as you pick the pen up and you're writing your story is being written as you go. Your story is being written as you go. So do not let the noise in. That's what I said. It's just like what I was just telling my other group of people. You don't let the noise in. Okay? I know you keep starting. I know you keep stopping. Do not, you're going to have to change that around. You got to, put yourself on a timer to complete those tasks, to complete those things that you're trying to complete, because guess what? You set these goals, right? A lot of you, New Year's Eve, right at 12 o'clock or a few days after or sometime in January, you set these goals. And then all of a sudden, you started, and that's great. Remember what I just said? At least you started. Okay, but the start, stop. A lot of times when you stop, here's a secret. A lot of times, guys, when you stop and have to start, it makes the task harder. It makes the task harder. Okay, because that means that things are not lining up correctly, because when you stop and you start again, well, that start is like you're starting from that moment. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not so much like, it would be like working on a project, right? You're working on a project, and as you're working on that project, each time you stop, you have to backtrack a little bit to kind of stay in line with what's going on. Like, it's like, for example, a TV show, right? A TV show it's off season or something, or it's the last episode of the season. Okay. When it comes back, the writers and the producers always do what? They always give you like a little bit of a recap, because they know that you don't come back. Sometimes those shows don't come back for almost a year or 6 months or so. And so they do the recap so that so that you can kind of remember what happened, where the story is going. And so that's kind of what I'm getting at. When you stop, you now have to spend extra time recapping where you were at. And that's extra time that you're not spending on the project. And that delays. And that's, like one of my colleagues, that's why it takes a person 8 years. You have a person, it took him 8 years to finish college, but not because, he wasn't, he wasn't, educated or anything like that. It just life, those things kept getting in the way. A semester here, a semester there, that kind of situation, to where it took him that long to finally finish. And so, but each time, even though he retained the bulk of the knowledge, there was about 15%, 10 to 15% of that knowledge that he had to kind of recap. And that 10 or 15% was part, if you add up that 10, 15% each time, that was the vast majority of why it took so long, as opposed to him just following through. So, now, you know where I'm going. To those of you that have not even started, to those of you that made these goals, put them down, even probably went as far as writing them down, putting them on the refrigerator, you got them in your purse or wallet, a little notepad, a little Post-it, a little piece of paper that you wrote down, you want to do this, okay, or that you text to yourself or whatever, okay, but you haven't started. Okay, time is running out. Time is running out. The procrastination ends today. You have to say that to yourself. Okay? Time is running out. It's not just about the 7 months that's already happened. It's about the 5 months left. Okay? So now you have to put your foot on the gas. Okay? Not the brake, on the gas. And you got to do nothing but accelerate. Okay? These are for those of you that have not even started, have not even taken one step towards that goal. It's time to stop playing the game. It's time to stop getting distracted. It's time to stop the laziness. It's time to stop the excuses. It's time to definitely stop. I can't do it because this person or that person, or this keeps getting in my way, or I got to work, or this. Okay, at the end of the day, the goal that you're trying to accomplish is going to be life-changing for you. And if you really want change in your life, and you really want life to be different for you, and you really want to see a different life, then guess what? You should be all over that goal, because that goal is going to do something for you. It's going to do something for you. You've heard me say self-care is not selfish. Okay, you're not being selfish when you take care of when you take care of yourself sometimes. It's okay. I understand that, you got a lot, you got family, you got commitments at work, you got commitments at school, you got commitments with your significant other, you got commitments with your children, you got commitments with your job. I understand all of that. But you have a commitment to yourself. You hear me say all the time, life is too short. You hear me say all the time that there is no tomorrow, because there might not be a tomorrow. One day there won't be a tomorrow. Okay? And the worst place that you could ever live in your life is in regret. Because regret leads to a lot of other stuff. Okay? It leads to a lot of other, it causes a lot of other challenges, is what I mean. Just because within that regret, you feel like you're a failure. You shouldn't feel like a failure. Only way you could truly fail is that you totally give up. Okay? Not starting something isn't giving up. Stopping something isn't giving up. Okay? I'm all for taking time. I'm all for resetting and all of that, starting and resetting. But at the end of the day, don't you find it funny you haven't even started? I told a colleague the other day that was, one of the things is that this particular colleague is very talented, very knowledgeable, all around just, kind of person that's got a lot going for him. But this person is actually afraid of success. Every time they get close to success, every time they, whether it's an opportunity where someone's going to give them a contract or something like that, they do something to sabotage it, or they do something. They don't show up for a meeting, or they show up late to a meeting, or they turn around and they'll say something just totally off the wall in the meeting to kind of just throw a wrench in the whole thing. And I told them that. I said, I think deep down, you're afraid of success, because every time it's there, yours for the taking, you turn around and you find a way to make it not happen. And a lot of that is, a lot of people say they want something when deep down they don't really want it. They like the energy of making it look and appear like they're working towards that, or they're accomplishing that, but they're not actually, it's that stationary bike. In one of my episodes of Conscientious Conversation, I talk about life as a stationary bike. You're sitting there, you're doing all this breathing, you're doing all this sweating, you're doing all that, but the bike's not going anywhere. The bike's not going anywhere. And that, obviously there's two different sides of that. But for the most part, you're not going anywhere. You put all the energy where it appears like you're going somewhere, but you're not going anywhere. And so, if the goal was worth you putting thought to it, not just writing it down, just putting thought to it. If the goal was worth enough to do that, then guess what? That you gave up to even think about it and spend time thinking about it. You gave up the most precious asset you have, which is time. And so you gave up time to come up with that. So get on with it. Get on with it and start. Get on with it and start. Make the next 5 months double time, double time, double time. So, continue your goals. Go after it. Don't get distracted. Don't lose focus. And most of all, do not listen to the noise. Do not cut out the noise. Do not listen to the noise. Do not spend one moment listening to the noise. And get after it. So, you've been listening to Conscientious Conversation. I'm your host, Will Prophet. Go, 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 and have a great day. Don't leave anything to chance. Reach for it. Reach for it. No matter what, reach for it and have a great day.